All right. Well, welcome back to the channel. Well, I've got a couple things for you today. Before I begin, though, I wanted to say a buddy of mine, Tax Slave Dave, on Twitter, he posted this picture of his favorite podcasts that he listens to, and he ranked them according to spiciness level on the Scoville scale. And here at the bottom, right around 0 Scovilles, we've got John Harris, which I think we would all agree is true. John Harris is actually the single podcast that I listen to the most. So I would agree with that, though. Zero spiciness in general. And then I'm up here at the 1,000 Scoville units section here. Poblanos, things like that. This is not really spicy at all. And Apologia Studios is just a little bit above me. And then we've got Doug Wilson up here. We've got Bible Bashed up here, with the super chilies and all that kind of stuff. Tabasco sauce and all that. And, of course, we've got Big Bear at the top. Trinidad Scorpion level Scoville units. I would, of course, have to agree with that. A lot of people were saying that I should be higher. But actually, I think these rankings are pretty good. I mean, I haven't really listened to Apologia in a while. I think Apologia was spicier than I have ever been. I don't really remember, but yeah, I mean, I think here's the thing. Here's the thing with my content. I think that sometimes, every now and then, you'll get like a thermonuclear sort of like, not quite Big Bear level, of course. Maybe like Scotch bonnets, something like that. I don't know, but most of the time I think I'm right down here, man. I saw somebody say that I'm like a jalapeno, like normally not that spicy, but every now and then you get one that's just like a little spicier than the rest, and it just burns your mouth. I think that's probably pretty accurate. But thanks, man. God bless you. I'm glad you enjoy the content. All right. So 2 tweets, and they seem to contradict, but I like them both, and I agree with them both, and I just wanted to explain why. Nobody really called me on it, but just wanted to draw attention to it. Here's from Boniface Option. It says, quote, get woke, go broke is largely a myth. When the money printer spigot goes through BlackRock, you're going to go woke whether you like it or not, and the normie still consumes Groomer Plus and that one sport with end racism tattooed in the end zone, just as much as they did before the Great Awakening. The only thing that is going to bring this down is political power. And he's quote tweeting this guy who said, like, oh, Disney stock went down, they lost a lot of subscribers, and like I guess he was implying get woke, go broke. But Disney's not going broke. Disney's obviously not going broke. Yeah, and he's right. I mean, BlackRock is the financier of choice, and they've got a lot of money, and they've got the ESG things going on and all that kind of stuff. So Disney's okay with losing money in certain ways and things like that. They're not going broke anytime soon. That's just a reality. And so I'd agree with Boniface Option. When a movie flops at Disney because it's too woke, they don't care. They'll do it again. They'll do it. I mean, they might not do it again, that year, but they'll do it again next year. They'll put another woke movie out with lesbians, with fat, lesbians falling in love with each other and things like that. And it'll flop again, but they're not going broke. Obviously, I think Boniface Option is dead on. But then earlier that week, I liked this post, and I agree with it as well. And you might be like, hey, that's a contradiction. Here's Michael Foster. He says, woke storytelling goes against the grain of reality and is naturally repugnant even to unbelievers. Hence, go woke and you will eventually go broke. And I agreed with that. In fact, I added my 2 cents to this, and I said, going woke is a cost center. It's a cost center that won't yield a good return. By the way, a cost center, some people didn't know what that meant. All that means is that like it's a department or a job at a company that doesn't like directly affect revenue, but it kind of like indirectly affects it. Like it's like marketing dollars, right? Like a lot of times you can't one-to-one say this dollar that I spent on marketing yielded this result. It's not like a sales rep that, I call up a company, I say, hey, you want to buy my product? They say yes. And you can say, well, 80 Robles was responsible for that sale. Marketing's different. It's more indirect. It's like you put out your marketing and, you see what kind of marketing yields the best, result at some point, but it's a cost center, and things like that. So anyway, going woke is a cost center. It's one that won't yield a good return. Many of the companies doing it view it as a marketing strategy, and they believe that they can afford to burn those dollars. Worst case scenario, they course correct. there are huge inefficiencies at play here, which leaves wide open opportunity for smaller companies who won't waste marketing dollars in this way to take market share. This is true. This is true. So there are companies out there that spend tons of money on diversity, equity, and inclusion training. That doesn't yield any positive result. It doesn't help the bottom line. It doesn't help them with revenue generation. It actually hurts company morale. It hurts a lot of things. It hurts recruiting efforts and things like that. And so they're actually hurting their own business but they think that they're going to make it up in marketing. They're going to look good for having a diversity program or something like that. So it's actually a cost center. It costs a lot of money. It actually they end up losing money on it, but they believe it's marketing dollars. So, eventually maybe one day people think that they're not a racist company and then they'll do better in the marketplace. Now that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And they ended up wasting a lot of money in the here and now on these diversity, equity, and inclusion things that they do. But the thing is, though, and this is the key word to Michael Foster's tweet that I think is something that I don't know if Boniface Option would agree with this or not, but it doesn't matter. This is why I think these don't contradict. The word is eventually. So if Disney doesn't course correct and they don't figure out that, their stories about the fat lesbians falling in love, they don't really sell as well as the story of Cinderella, right? Like if they don't start course correcting and changing a little bit about what they do, they're not going to have to change everything, but they're going to have to change some things. Eventually, over time, there will be a competitor with Disney that'll do better than Disney. They'll make better stories. They'll have better theme parks. They'll have better IPs, better internet streaming services. Because the thing is, those efficiencies over time erode your profits. They erode your earnings over time, though. That's the thing. Disney has a long runway. And that's what kind of Boniface Option was talking about regarding BlackRock. Disney's got a very long runway. But there are inefficiencies with what Disney's doing. And so the door's open for companies that want to produce content that's actually good, right? They want to do stuff. They want to have a theme park that's actually, Disney's theme park is still good. But the thing is, like, the woke stuff at Disney's theme park will erode even the experience at the theme park as well. So this is the thing, like the get woke, go broke. I believe that that's actually true, but it's only over time. It's only eventually. And I believe that Boniface Option is right. Political power to crush these subversive ideologies that are being pushed on people in schools and things like that, and in businesses and stuff like that, that will be necessary. You're going to have to enforce justice on all of these evil influences that are just ingrained in our schooling system, ingrained in the way that we do business and stuff like that. This is going to have to stop. You're going to have to stop usury at one point. You're going to have to put an end to it. And this is just, you look at the Bible, and this is what happens. You get a good king. Finally, you get a good king after a line of bad kings. And he doesn't just sit on his hands and says, well, commit idolatry, go broke, and do nothing. No, he makes reforms. He gets after it. He starts tearing down their idols. He starts making moves and stuff like that. That's what's necessary. That's what's necessary. We're going to have to make some moves, and I believe that the Boniface Option is right. It's going to come through political power. Now, that political power is going to have to come through, of course, a move of the Spirit and all that kind of thing. We're going to have to get a lot of people that want the rule of Christ, and quite frankly, right now, most Christians don't want the rule of Christ. And so that's a big problem, and that's something that we need to pray for and work towards and all of that. But you should start now. You should start now. You should start creating businesses that aren't going to have these efficiencies, because you're going to pick up market share. And you're not going to end up being the next Disney right away, but you're going to pick up market share. People that don't want to watch the fat lesbians falling in love story. They want to watch a new kind of Cinderella story and things like that. You'll have an opportunity to capture that business. You're going to have opportunities. They're opening up all over the place. And all you basically got to do is do really good work and not be woke, and you will take market share. It's just that simple. Anyway, so that is coming. I wanted to explain that a little bit. And then the other thing is, I wanted to talk about this whole thing with with everyone raging against internet people that are anonymous. Anonymous contents are evil, and you got Jordan Peterson. That guy's mentally sick. Like people say Kanye's mentally ill. Jordan Peterson's mentally ill. That guy's insane. You see how he dresses now? I don't know, man, but how you dress says something about your. Anyway. So, Jordan Peterson, he thinks anonymous comments are like the devil, they're demons and stuff like that. And it's just so stupid because, anytime someone's talking about these anonymous trolls and stuff like that, they always have funding, right? Like they're paid for their political opinions, right? And they've got donors and they've got organizations and funds and things like that. So when they say that abortion's bad, they're not going to lose their job over that, right? When they say that transsexual story hours is evil and we should put an end to it, and we should put an end to it according to the force of law, like transsexuals shouldn't be allowed to groom kids at the library, and we should bring the law against that. When we say things like we should suppress homosexuality, that should be something that should be against the law. Doc Sandlin might be able to say something. I don't know if he would say that. I mean, I used to think I knew Doc Sandlin. I'm not so sure anymore. He's a little bit too liberal. Of course, in the classical sense. Anyway, that was stupid. That was weird. Anyway, so like, they're not going to get fired for that kind of stuff, right? But lots of regular people could get fired for stuff like that. Now, I think that any Christian should be prepared to be fired at any day, at any moment, for their ideologies, their political beliefs, their Christian beliefs, right? Their Christian ideology, their Christian politics, their Christian morality. At any moment, every Christian should be prepared to tender their resignation. Or, I'm sorry, forget the resignation. Get fired over it. Refuse to recant, refuse to sign on the dotted line, refuse to say that gays are the greatest thing since sliced bread, refuse to say that transsexuals are actually transsexuals and not transvestites. Anyone should be ready at any moment to walk into their place of business and say, look, you got to sign this thing about trannies. And you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that, and get fired for it. But that doesn't mean you need to make it easy. You don't have to make it easy on people, right? It's like, and I saw a comment that said something that was just it was so good. It's like, like pretending like you're in a fight, right? Like you're in a trench, you're in trench warfare. And it's like, well, a true Christian who truly trusts Christ isn't going to hide in the trench. They're just going to walk out on the Western Front and just, allow themselves to get shot at. Like, you don't have to make your enemy's job easy. Being anonymous is, listen, I'm not anonymous, and I encourage anyone who's able to not be anonymous, because we need real people that have real names, that have real skin in the game, to be out there encouraging other people to get their own skin in the game, right? Like, we need that kind of thing. That's something that's good, right? But not everyone has a situation where that makes sense. Like, if my situation were even slightly different, I've got 3 kids and another one on the way, right? I've got to provide for them, right? So I could easily see myself being an anon, and going anonymous and all that kind of thing. I could easily see it, right? What's the deal? He says, his suggestion: delete all anonymous comments. Serious comments don't seek anonymity. Serious comments do not seek anonymity. That's just not true. There have been, and there's countless examples. You could easily refute this probably with Doc Sandlin's own words about people that use pseudonyms. You could probably find something in Doc Sandlin's own content that praised someone that had a pseudonym he had great ideas, but he had a pseudonym because it was a dangerous thing to say at the time. This is obviously not correct. Anonymous people have serious things to say all the time. Now, some anonymous people don't have serious things to say, and guess what? Those anonymous people, feel free to block them. Feel free to ignore them. I do it all the time. I don't listen to every anonymous person who comes my way, but there are plenty of anonymous people that have really good things to say, that have really intelligent things to say. And, they've got situations that require them to be anonymous. And they don't want to make it easy on their enemies. So many examples of people that have gotten fired or almost fired for their opinions online that are just basic Christian opinions. Abortion is wrong. Abortion should be punished by the death penalty. These are basic Christian morality. Homosexuality is not good. There's no such thing as transsexuals. There's transvestites, but there's no transsexuals. And being a transvestite is evil. Basic Christian morality. and they've gotten fired for it. You know, someone dug up their employer, they called them up, they things like, and listen, they're going to do that even when you're anonymous, right? But you don't have to make it easy on these people. You can make it as hard. You can hide, you can duck, you can cover, you can do anything you need to do. That's all completely legitimate. And again, I just have to say, it's like, you know, that's fine for Doc Sandlin, who's got funding and all this kind of stuff, and this is what he gets paid for, his Christian opinions. Not everyone gets paid for their Christian opinions. And this doesn't mean you're hiding it under a bushel, but it also doesn't mean that you make it easy to cancel you. You should be as hard to cancel as possible. There's nothing wrong with being anonymous. I get why they do it, because, you know, anonymous people that have big followings are a threat to get someone like Jordan Peterson or Doc Sandlin or things like that. And so they're trying to protect their little kingdoms, their little fiefdoms is what they're trying to do. But the thing is, like, this is an obviously brain dead take. Doc Sandlin's a smart guy. I like Doc Sandlin a little less recently, but I still like him. But this is a stupid take. This is a really stupid take. This is a take that shows me that you just simply do not understand the man in the pew. Doc Sandlin, you do not understand what concerns the man in the pew actually has, what their lives are really like, what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. You don't understand, or you don't care, because there's nothing in Christianity that says you need to be naive and make it easy for your enemies to defeat you. In fact, it says the opposite. I send you out as sheep among wolves. Therefore be innocent as doves and shrewd as serpents. Shrewd as serpents. That does not mean post all your contact information online and your boss's contact information online, so the next time you say homosexuality should be outlawed, they can call your boss and get you fired. I'm pretty sure that that's not the kind of shrewdness that Jesus was talking about when he told you that he was sending you out like sheep among wolves. Like, this is the thing. Like, I like Doc Sandlin, and he's not, you know, a bad guy. He's not one of these, like, progressive. I called him liberal earlier, but I meant, like, classically liberal, like all the snooty people like to say, and all that kind of stuff. I like Doc Sandlin. I liked his stuff. Like I said, be honest, a little bit less do I like him lately, but I like his stuff. But this is the thing. This is what people are sick of. They're sick of leaders that don't get it. That they think that their lives are like the standard for all Christians. Like, the pastor life, the ministry life is not the standard for all Christians. And if you think that it is, then you've got problems. This is why people like me have more following than they used to have, because, like, I don't not get it. Like, I understand, like, what you deal with when you go to work and you're having the transsexual drag queen poker night, and it's like, man, like, what do I got to do here? Like that, I understand what it's like to go into the office and you get the thing that says that I will not discriminate against the gays. I won't. They're the greatest thing. And it's like, now you have to make a decision. I understand what it's like to get the vaccine mandate at work, and it's like, man, like, I don't really have a whole lot of options here. And what that calculus is like for you. And the thing is, like, so many of our leaders just seem to not get it. They seem to lead insulated lives. And I know that that's not true. Of course, you have your own life too, Doc Sandlin. You've got to answer to people. But takes like this, you don't get it, dude. You don't get it. Not everyone's paid for their Christian morality opinions. In fact, hardly anybody is. The people in the pews are living a different life than you are. So it's time to start, like, sympathizing. People talk about empathy and sympathy all the time. Time to start sympathizing with these people. Anyway, that turned out more negative than I wanted it to be. I thought that was going to be a positive video. In any case, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.